Hey Binders, it's Caitlin. We are taking a quick production break this week. So, here's a little Patreon exclusive video as a treat. We'll be back next Monday with our regularly scheduled programming, and we can't wait to see you then. Bye.
Hello, patrons.
Hello. We have something special just for you in celebration of our season 4 finale.
Yes. And there's some extra spooky stories that we didn't read on our Hauntings episode that we are going to read for you now.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Some extra stories for you. This is also from Monique. Oh, it's Monique from New Zealand again.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Monique from New Zealand. Monique from New Zealand again. That's what it says.
No.
With yet another spiritual encounter. I used to work at Spookers for about 6 years, which is a haunted house where you scare people. The thing about this particular place was that it was built in an old mental asylum after it had shut down due to the abuse of the patients by one particular nurse that we know as the Gray Nurse.
Oh, fuck.
She haunts a particular hallway in the haunted house, and many have described a woman in a white dress standing atop of the stairs. There was also a haunted forest attraction where we would scare people. Like in an actual forest, or it's... Because that's cool. It's like Haunted Hayride.
Like Haunted Hayride, yeah.
We have this thing in LA called Haunted Hayride, and I've never actually gone because I'm scared.
Me too.
We should go.
I don't like being chased.
I don't like being scared.
It's not for me.
But maybe we should, maybe.
For content?
If we like, you know when there's like a dunk tank, and if you raise enough money, the person falls in the tank, and it's like, what if it's like that, but the thing that they win is us going to Haunted Hayride and Mike filming
peeing our
it.
pants. Mike fingers.
If we like
us peeing ourselves.
I don't know, if we do a little fundraiser or something. I think
Mike's not sure if he's in, fun. But it could be fun.
I'll probably be very entertaining. I'm scared.
We should find out if we're allowed to film.
Yeah,
that's not
you
a bad
probably
idea.
You can on your iPhone maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll look into it for you. Like if we hit $500, we'll, so we can pay Mike an actual wage for all the work he does. Oh my God, we should have a Mike's salary fundraiser. Please help us pay my poor producer and husband.
Honestly, Mike does all the things that Laura
Please
and I could not even attempt ourselves.
Put a Venmo up and say, if we hit $1,000 in 2 weeks,
you can watch us
we will go to the Haunted Hayride and provide you with this content on YouTube. I'm just saying. It's better than an OnlyFans. It's like Only Scares, where like we just do scary things. People pay to watch us be scared. I digress. One evening, I was working in a set called Church. It was only my 4th night on the job, which is scary.
That's scary.
That's terrifying outside of a haunted house. Just kidding. It was only my 4th night on the job, and I wasn't aware of the spiritual activity. I turned around after scaring a group of people, and I see the shadowy figure of a woman who appeared to be staring right at me. I was looking at the figure for a very long time, and one of the people who worked with me said, "Oh, you see that too? Yeah, that happens a lot." When I looked back to where I saw the figure, it was gone. A couple of years later, all the staff were getting their nightly briefing outside the courtyard when all of a sudden me and my coworker heard a very loud scream coming from the woods. We were shocked because if everyone who worked there was in the same place in that moment, who was screaming in the woods? Keeping in mind this place is in the middle of nowhere, we didn't have neighbors on that side and the forest was pretty big. Safe to say, I had to ask someone to walk me to my set that night. I'm guessing that's another location in the haunted house. A few weeks ago, I went through as a customer. Everything was fine and fun and scary as it should be. We went into the main haunted house down a very dark hallway on the 2nd floor, and we hear someone running behind us. My friend and I looked back, and it wasn't a person running at us, but a shadow figure once again. We started boosting it down the hallway, And when we looked again, we started boosting it down the hallway. That must be a term.
Like running.
Yeah. I'm like hauling ass down the hallway. Yeah. I figured you, I pictured you like going, ooh, get away. Like down like pushing it down the hallway. I don't know why.
Some New Zealand slang, I guess.
Boosting.
That
was not a Kiwi accent. So if you're ever in New Zealand and you see spookers, just be prepared that the actors won't be the only ones scaring you.
It's wild to me that places like that can be used for
repurposed.
Really, like anything. Yeah, repurposed.
The
like,
asylums are popular when there's
Ooh.
still the stuff. Like the film set that I worked on, like it's literally an old hospital that they shoot like... They shot like End of Days there, some shit like that.
Oh my God.
So.
Okay, I have a cute little story from Caitlin. Also Caitlin with a K. Love that. My mom grew up in a very small town in western Pennsylvania, and I inherited all of her old furniture. When I was in the 3rd grade, I made the mistake of hanging her ancient mirror across from my bed. One morning, I woke up and in the reflection of the mirror, saw a being walking through the wall of my room surrounded by red mist. The mirror has not been in my room since.
Whoa. Red mist.
Right. I was just thinking about the red coat lady.
Yeah. There's a theme here and now it's
the
red.
Mist.
And you're wearing red.
I'm wearing red.
We were both planning on wearing red today for some reason. That's weird. What's up with red?
What's up with red?
It's like we should do a color magic episode or something.
We should. Coming season 5.
Let's color. I also have a short story from another Vanessa. Different Vanessa. Same name.
Fascinating.
Lots of Caitlins and Vanessas and Monique. Killing it with all those stories. Okay. Hi, guys. I don't know if this counts as a spooky story, but ever since I was younger, I would have vivid dreams of me performing exorcisms on different spirits. Some in my family home and some in random places. One that is very vivid to me till this day is I saw a blonde-haired girl in my brother's room. I still get chills just thinking about it. I dreamt of her twice. I am choosing not to describe the dream because it was intense. Respect. I still dream of spirits here and there, but nothing like that one, and they're mostly children's spirits. That reminds me of, I've had a reoccurring dream, I don't think it's like particularly exorcisms, but it's sort of like dreams about my potential magically, and like it's this dream where I'm like fighting off energies, like bad energies. And a blue light shoots out of the palm of my hand. And I feel like the most fucking powerful badass witch. It's always blue light and it would shoot out of my hand. And I was like able to expel them. So maybe your dream is telling you that you have a gift in that area and that you can explore that in some way or whatever you want to do with it. What do you think?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing as you were reading it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're supposed to be doing some sort of work with spirits.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a scary thing or a bad thing. It can be a little jarring,
prophetic.
But it sounds prophetic and like your guides or like whatever, your intuition is like, this is what you're capable of doing.
Something worth exploring.
Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, when you mentioned the blue light, I think that's interesting because...
Yeah, what do you think about that?
When I perform cleansings, limpias, and when I do exorcisms as well, my guide Felicita, who usually is in charge of things, one of the things that she does when she's done like expelling whatever's there is she grabs blue light and she replaces those spaces with blue light so they aren't just empty, hollow. She'll do it on a person or on like objects and things, but it's always blue light.
It's always this blue light. And
she says it comes from Saint Michael, which is interesting because Saint Michael like carries the flaming sword. He's often depicted with like crushing the head of a snake or crushing the devil. So that's really interesting to me.
Pretty cool.
I usually don't have dreams about, excuse me, allergy season. I usually don't have dreams about exercising spirits, ironically enough, but I can't tell you how many times a client has reached out to me and told them that they had dreams that I showed up in and I was exercising spirits either for them, with them, or I was teaching them how to do it in their dreams.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Well, you are a teacher. So
I
that
am
makes
a teacher.
sense. Yeah, that's really neat.
One that I'm remembering right now is my client was in a pizza shop and there were these like zombie demons coming through and she said I was there and she was like, Caitlin, aren't you going to do something? And I was like, no, you need to do it this time.
Right.
And then I like taught her how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, not to, and even if that's something you haven't explored, like don't count yourself out. Like you're still magical. I feel like the blue light or the spirit, something with spirits or whatever, that's going to happen to me later in my life. For some reason, I feel like I'm going to explore what that means. I don't know what that means yet, but I do feel a weird sensation of like, if I was faced with evil or something really negative, like I would know what to do. You would know what to do.
Absolutely.
And it wouldn't be able to fuck with me. So, I don't know.
Not fucking with you. I think something that occurred to me as I was reading through all of these stories to prep for the episode was like, I've never had an experience like this before.
Me neither.
I'm like, damn, like this must be something that happens when you don't have some sort of spiritual protection in place.
Or it's like wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time.
I think it's maybe more to do with the place. Yeah. Maybe. Because they say like our place is haunted or people. I think it can be both.
Yeah. Well, and like part of the way our spirits protect us when we have relationships with them is they'll say, don't go in there.
Yeah.
Or stay home.
Yeah. I mean.
Or turn left instead of right.
Right.
Maybe
it's
interesting.
It shows up different times for different people and we're all built differently and it's fascinating.
Okay, I have another one from a different Caitlin with a C this time.
Is this our last one?
This is our last story.
Last extra story.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. She, her, love you. And my ghost story is about the ghost that lives. Oh, this one's fucked up.
Oh my God. Okay.
Spoiler. It's fucked up. The ghost that lives in my friend's house. Back in 2009, my friend would throw house parties pretty much every other weekend when his parents would go out of town for two reasons. One, it's very like 2000s teen movie. Like the parents are always gone, so they have house parties.
It's like that. Mean Girls. She's like hiding the.
Or like 10 Things I Hate About You at Bowie Lowenstein's
what is that?
House.
Some like Blacksmith Mambazo.
Oh, what is it? You love Lady Blacksmith Mambazo. Why is the fertility urn of the Unabelly tribe under the sink?
Under the sink.
Okay, so in 2009, my friend would throw house parties pretty much every other weekend when his parents would go out of town for two reasons. One, being house parties are always an epic time to have, especially when you can't go to bars yet. And two, if you have a ghost problem, the best solution is to never be left alone with Mr. Ghost.
That's really
so you
smart.
have a party, which would pretty much guarantee a few people to stay and crash for the night. Creative.
Amazing. Again, these solutions are just
techniques.
Off the wall. Off the charts. Intelligence.
I always heard the stories of chairs moving on their own, temps changing in the house, and doors suddenly being unable to open. That's interesting. For the most part, I just thought, excuse me. For the most part, I just thought it was everyone trying to freak each other out and wanting their story to be the new ghost story everyone told. I was usually in the house with no less than 5 people, and maybe everybody's energy had kept the ghost away because I never felt anything when I was there for a party. Then I got to have my own ghost story in that house. My friend was alone and asked me to pop in for a bit until his boyfriend could get there. This is a spooky pride story.
This is a spooky pride story.
Love that. Happy Pride. When I walked in the door, I immediately knew this was not the vibe. But I didn't want to freak him out and tell him I could feel something lingering around downstairs. So I walked with unease, but wanting to still hang out, I just kept in mind to stay in the living room and not to go into the kitchen in order to stay away from whatever was lurking around us that night. I had tried to play it off, ignore whatever was going on, and took a spot on the couch, trying to chat and focus on the TV. But from where I was sitting, there was a window across from me that had my full attention. In the reflection of the window, since it was night, I could vaguely see someone looking back at me, but it would keep moving. The window is too high up to actually be somebody outside looking in. I also thought at this point my mind was playing tricks on me because of all of the previous ghost stories. Wanting so desperately to get out of there, I kept trying to think of something to do that would get us out of the house. Then my friend asked if I wanted to go back to my house and get my tarot deck and shuffle the cards and order food. Just needing to get out, I jumped at the chance to get out of there for a second. We got our stuff together, and in my head, I was repeating to myself to not look in the kitchen, not look at the window as I passed, and to not look at the mirror that was next to the front door and would have allowed me to look behind into the kitchen. Then my friend started to freak out and push me, yelling, "Get out! The ghost is in the kitchen!" I ran, he ran, and we sat in his car looking up in the kitchen as a shadow moved from the window, also looking at us.
Oh.
When we returned 20 or so minutes later, it felt different, and that whatever was there was gone now. For many years after, I avoided any weird feelings and stuck to only being there when a ton of people or a party was going on. But a few years ago, right before COVID, I broke that and went in when it was only my friend and his boyfriend there. He was house sitting and wanted to hang out and have me do a reading for them. Okay.
Strap in.
Pretty much 10 years to the date from the first event, and we were doing the exact same thing, hanging out and tarot. Halfway through the reading, I felt the same as I did that day, drawn to keep looking at that window and feeling this weird sickness. The reading I did for them was horrible, but I couldn't bear to be like, hey, this fucking ghost is really fucking with me again. So I just excused myself, not looking at the window or the mirror on the way out. And that was the last time I was there. I think I wore out my welcome. P.S. The origin of why my friend did not want to be left alone in the house was because while he was sleeping one night, he felt like the ghost was trying to choke him.
Ooh.
P.P.S. Maybe this is not a ghost? Question mark.
Ooh, PPS.
Pee-pee.
PP. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah, but that's scary, but it's like, why does it want you to look? Maybe it's not a ghost. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it's, I don't know. There's a lot.
Bless you for even trying to do a tarot reading in that house after what you experienced.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back in there.
Mm-mm.
One of my friend's house, I just remembered right now, was haunted. And we never really hung out there because it was scary pants.
Too scary.
But
that candle was doing something wild out of the corner.
I saw it too. I was like, why is it?
Our red candle.
The weird colors today, the red and the blue.
I also think it's interesting that like two of the stories that came up had like ties back to COVID.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Very traumatic world event.
Exactly.
I'm sure prior and like an earthquake, maybe when animals know.
Okay, it's interesting that you said earthquake because as I was getting ready for today, I was recalling how in 2019 I was hosting Into the Veil in person. And for those of you who don't know, Into the Veil is my group mentorship introduction to Espiritismo. And I would always channel at the end of the event. And what kept coming up over and over again, and I didn't know what it meant at the time, they would tell me that there are cracks in the earth and they are opening wider and wider, and that many of the living, many of the living were going to suddenly be joining the realm of the ancestors. And in my head, I was like, an earthquake. Oh, it's an earthquake. But then COVID happened. And like, how many people died just in the US? Like 2 million?
A lot.
And I kind of wonder, I'm just like, what? Like, what are the spiritual implications?
Yeah, of something
like that.
Well, a lot of places that have a lot of haunted activity, when the people weren't able to go to them anymore and go in these places, some people reported like the activity getting worse in those places because they were like, where's everybody? And they were panicking. I'm sure it's weird for the Queen Mary or something like that's a tourist attraction for hauntings, just to go dark all of a sudden for the spirits. They're probably like, where the fuck?
Where are our friends?
Are they? Where's our attention?
Where's the audience?
Come on. Yeah. And so that, I think that had it definitely had an effect on, I mean, gosh.
Okay, and then we kind of touched upon it in the episode, which if you haven't listened, go listen or watch it because we look cute. But I talked a little bit about ancestral elevation and how we don't have really proper death rites of passage in Western society. And like during COVID, nobody could go to funerals.
No, it's really, I mean, I think that's part of the spiritual boom we're seeing now. I mean, it was going on pre-COVID, but now that I think about it, I mean, it's just going to keep, people want answers, people want connection that they weren't able to have. And it's, I think that made us all take stock of a lot of things, including like our mortality.
Oh, totally.
Because we were terrified of dying every day.
I was talking to one of my colleagues who's also a medium and a reader, and we were both kind of commiserating about how in 2020, like it was our biggest year for like dollars earned ever.
Oh yeah, me too.
Ever.
2021 and 2020 for me were like very good years.
They were and we were like, oh, can we get used to this? Is this going to be how it is from now on?
No.
And then after everything started opening up again,
no, it's not.
Disappeared.
No one's at home buying things or like, but even that too, just for wanting spiritual or having the time to be able to afford the time to be able to read, to think about their spiritual education.
Totally.
Or witchy tchotchkes. Like, those are important. And, just to even take, I mean, I'm sure I planted a bomb-ass garden and like, I do every year, but it was like, I made so many, I was like, I have to live off these tomatoes. I made multiple batches of spaghetti sauce with just my tomatoes. That's how many tomatoes I have. I don't have a large backyard. I had like 3 tomato plants. 2 were producing that much.
That's amazing.
Because I did hella magic for that shit. I was like, well, you have to live off the land. No, I really did.
Sourdough starter.
They were massive.
That's
tomato
incredible.
Plant. They spilled over the fence into the middle of my fucking yard. I'm not even kidding you.
That's incredible.
It was wild. So I'm hoping maybe not that many. You don't need that many tomatoes.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
That was really fun. Thank you to our listeners for sending in your spooky stories. Thank you to our patrons for your support.
Patrons. We love you.
We love you. We appreciate you so, so much. We've talked about it on the show, but this is an independent podcast that we do out of the love of our hearts.
Yeah. So we really appreciate your support.
We really do.
And we'll continue to drop really fun little patron tidbits for you here, so you can enjoy some extra content.
So go cleanse and sleep tight.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. You can follow the podcast at Third Eye Bind Pod on Instagram. There, submit your questions via the Third Eye line by sending us a voice message or text DM. The show is available wherever you listen to podcasts and for you to watch on YouTube. Get early access to episodes and even monthly one-on-one sessions with us by joining our Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/thirdeyebind. Third Eye Bind is produced and edited by Mike Realm. Hosted by Caitlin Grania and Loretta Wong. Music by Mike Realm.
Set design by Loretta Wong.
You can find Loretta on Instagram at LadyMoonCo and Caitlin at caitlin.grania.